Okay, we go to Sutta 107, Ganakamoggallana Sutta, 2 Ganakamoggallana. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in the eastern park in the palace of Megara's mother. Then the Brahmin Ganakamoggallana went to the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him. When this courteous and amiable talk was finished, he sat down at one side and said to the Blessed One, Master Gautama, in this palace of Megara's mother, there can be seen gradual training, gradual practice, and gradual progress, that is down to the last step of the staircase. Among these Brahmins too, there can be seen gradual training, gradual practice, and gradual progress, that is in study. Among archers too, there can be seen gradual training, that is in archery. Among accountants like us who earn our living by accountancy, there can be seen gradual training, that is in computation. For when we get an apprentice, first we make him count 1, 1, 2 twos, 3 threes, 4 fours, 5 fives, 6 sixes, 7 sevens, 8 eights, 9 nines, 10 tens, and we make him count 100 too. Now, is it possible, Master Gautama, to describe gradual training, gradual practice, and gradual progress in this Dhamma Vinaya? Stop here for a moment. So, this man is asking the Buddha, how is the gradual training in the Buddha's Dhamma Vinaya and the Buddha's religion? And the Buddha said, it is possible, Brahmin, to describe gradual training, gradual practice, and a gradual progress in this Dhamma Vinaya. This as Brahmin, when a clever horse trainer obtains a fine thoroughbred colt, he first makes him get used to wearing the bit, and afterwards trains him further. So when the Tathagata obtains a person to be tamed, he first disciplines him thus. Come, monk, be virtuous, restrain with the restraint of the Patimokkha, be perfect in conduct and resort, and seeing fear in the slightest fault, train by undertaking the training precepts. Stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says, when a person becomes a monk, the first thing, he must learn moral conduct. The Patimokkha refers to the precepts, 227 precepts of monk. And perfect in conduct and resort. Conduct is our how we conduct ourselves. Resort is where we go to. There are certain places, certain resorts a monk is not supposed to go. For example, a place where prostitutes stay, a place where a single woman lives, is not supposed to go. All these, if he goes to such place, people would suspect him of breaking the precepts. When Brahmin, the monk, is virtuous and seeing fear in the slightest fault, then the Tathagata disciplines him further. Come, monk, guard the doors of your sense faculties. On seeing a form with the eye, do not grasp at its signs and features, since if you were to leave the eye faculty unguarded, evil, unwholesome states of covetousness and grief might invade you. Practice the way of its restraint. Guard the eye faculty. Undertake the restraint of the eye faculty. Similarly, on hearing a sound, smelling an odor, tasting a flavor, touching a tangible, cognizing a mind object, do not grasp at its signs and features, since if you were to leave the faculties unguarded, evil, unwholesome states might invade you. Practice the way of its restraint. Guard the faculties. Undertake the restraint of the faculties. So the second step here is to guard the six sense doors. If you see or hear anything, don't pay too much attention. Here it says, do not grasp at its signs and features. If you pay too much attention, then we are biting the bait that Mara has set up for us. When Brahmin, the monk, guards the doors of his sense faculties, then the Tathagata disciplines him further. Come, monk, be moderate in eating. Reflecting wisely, you should take food neither for amusement, nor for intoxication, nor for the sake of physical beauty and attractiveness, but only for the endurance and continuance of this body, for ending discomfort, and for assisting the holy life, considering, thus I shall terminate all feelings without arising new feelings, and I shall be healthy and blameless, and shall live in comfort. I'll stop here for a moment. So here the Buddha says the monk has to practice moderation in eating. That's why the Buddha's in the monastic code, a monk is only allowed to eat in one part of the day, in the morning, after dawn, and before noon, when the sun is at the highest. And here he says, thus I shall terminate all feelings. This all feelings refers to feelings of hunger, without arousing new feelings of greed. We just take the food to get rid of hunger without allowing greed to arise. When Brahmin, the monk, is moderate in eating, then the Tathagata disciplines him further. Come, monk, be devoted to wakefulness during the day, while walking back and forth and sitting. Purify your mind of obstructive states. In the first watch of the night, that means 6 to 10 p.m., while walking back and forth and sitting, purify your mind of obstructive states. In the middle watch of the night, you should lie down on the right side, in the lion's posture, with one foot overlapping the other, mindful and fully aware. After noting in your mind the time for rising, this middle watch is from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. After rising in the third watch of the night, while walking back and forth and sitting, purify your mind of obstructive states. This third watch is 2 to 6 a.m. So this devotion to wakefulness is to try to be wakeful, be awake as much as possible. So here the Buddha recommends only 4 hours of sleep. This is very difficult to do. You see here, if a monk wants to aim to practice this, then the whole day he should sit and walk, and then even at night also sit and walk. The only time to lie down is the middle watch. When Brahmin, the monk, is devoted to wakefulness, then the Tathagata disciplines him further. Come, monk, be possessed of mindfulness and recollection. This one, mindfulness and recollection. Sati sampajanya. Act in full awareness when going forward and returning. Act in full awareness when looking ahead and looking away. Act in full awareness when flexing and extending your limbs. Act in full awareness when wearing your robes and carrying your outer robe and bowl. Act in full awareness when eating, drinking, consuming food and tasting. Act in full awareness when defecating and urinating. Act in full awareness when walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, waking up, talking and keeping silent. When Brahmin, the monk, possesses mindfulness and recollection, then the Tathagata disciplines him further. Come, monk, resort to a secluded resting place, the forest or the root of a tree, a mountain, a ravine, a hillside cave, a charnel ground, a jungle thicket, an open space, or a heap of straw. He resorts to a secluded resting place. On returning from his alms round after his meal, he sits down, folding his legs crosswise, setting his body erect, and establishing mindfulness before him. Abandoning covetousness for the world, he abides with the mind free from covetousness. He purifies his mind from covetousness. Abandoning ill will and hatred, he abides with the mind free from ill will, compassionate for the welfare of all living beings. He purifies his mind from ill will and hatred. Abandoning sloth and torpor, he abides free from sloth and torpor, percipient of light, mindful and fully aware. He purifies his mind from sloth and torpor. Abandoning restlessness and remorse, he abides unagitated with the mind inwardly peaceful. He purifies his mind from restlessness and remorse. Abandoning doubt, he abides having gone beyond doubt, unperplexed about wholesome states. He purifies his mind from doubt. I stop here for a moment. So here, this one, abandonment of the 5 hindrances. You can notice from this description here, when a person abandons sloth and torpor, he is percipient of light. This light wells up from within him. And after that, he finds that these 5 hindrances are eliminated. And with the elimination of the 5 hindrances, he notices that his anger comes down a lot, and also his lust comes down a lot. These two are very noticeable. Having abandoned these 5 hindrances, imperfections of the mind that weaken wisdom, quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states. He enters upon and abides in the first jhana, which is accompanied by applied and sustained thought, with delight and pleasure born of seclusion. With the stilling of applied and sustained thought, he enters upon and abides in the second jhana, which has self-confidence and singleness of mind without applied and sustained thought, with delight and pleasure born of concentration. With the fading away as well of delight, he abides in equanimity, mindful and fully aware, still feeling pleasure with the body. He enters upon and abides in the third jhana, on account of which noble ones announce, he has a pleasant abiding, who has equanimity and is mindful. With the abandoning of pleasure and pain, and with the previous disappearance of joy and grief, he enters upon and abides in the fourth jhana, which has neither pain nor pleasure, and utter purity of sati, recollection and equanimity. This is my instruction, Brahmin, to those monks who are in the higher training, whose minds have not yet attained to the goal, who abide aspiring to the supreme security from bondage. But these things conduce both to a pleasant abiding here and now, and to mindfulness and recollection for those monks who are arahants, with taints destroyed, who have lived the holy life, done what had to be done, laid down the burden, reached the true goal, destroyed the fetters of being, and are completely liberated through final knowledge. I'll stop here for a moment. So here you see the Buddha lists out the gradual training of a monk or anyone on the holy life. And this list is called charana. Okay, so I was saying that this list of this gradual training is called charana in Pali, and that's translated as conduct or practice of the holy life. I mentioned before that this list in any one particular sutta is not complete. And I mentioned before that the complete list, there are 10 items, but usually what is given in most suttas is only 7 items. So like here, what is missing? The first one is contentment. Contentment is not here. And then the 7 sadhamma, the 7 good things are also not here. Okay, so you notice this practice or conduct of the holy life ends with the 4 jhanas, and just like the Noble Eightfold Path, it is mentioned in another sutta which we will come to, Sutta 117. It is mentioned that the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path must go in a definite sequence. It must start with right view, and then the Buddha says, only when you have attained right view, you have entered the Noble Eightfold Path. And right view will bring you to right thoughts. And right thoughts will bring you to right speech, which will bring you to right action, and that will bring you to right livelihood, and that will bring you to right effort, and that will bring you to right recollection, and that will bring you to right concentration. So the Noble Eightfold Path also ends with right concentration, which is defined as the 4 jhanas. So here also it ends with the 4 jhanas. But when after a person has attained the 4 jhanas, then if we follow the footprints of the Buddha to enlightenment, that he has to attain the abhinyas, the higher knowledges. And out the 6 higher knowledges, the 6 abhinyas, 5 of them have to do with psychic power. 5 of them, like the various types of psychic power called psychokinesis, and then the divine eye or heavenly eye, being able to see devas and devis and ghosts and all that, and then the heavenly ear, being able to hear, and then recollection of past lives, reading the minds of others and all that. So the 5 have to do with psychic power, but they are not so important as the last one. And the last one is destruction of the 5 of the asavas, destruction of the taints or uncontrolled mental outflows, which is basically the destruction of the flow of consciousness. Once the tendency of the consciousness to flow is destroyed, then when the arahant dies, the consciousness does not flow anymore. It is the 6 consciousnesses that flow, that create the world. So with the 4 jhanas, and if that person has the 4 jhanas, and then he studies the Buddha's words, that is, you can consider that as the 7th factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, Sammasati, and that can also be said to be vipassana. Vipassana is not a meditation. Vipassana is contemplation, Quan in Mandarin. So this knowledge of the suttas plus the 4 jhanas will bring one to enlightenment. When this was said, the Brahmin Ganakamoggallana asked the Blessed One, when Master Gautama's disciples are thus advised and instructed by him, do they all attain Nibbana, the ultimate goal, or do some not attain it? When Brahmin, they are thus advised and instructed by me, some of my disciples attain Nibbana, the ultimate goal, and some do not attain it. Master Gautama, since Nibbana exists, and the path leading to Nibbana exists, and Master Gautama is present as the guide, what is the cause and reason why, when Master Gautama's disciples are thus advised and instructed by him, some of them attain Nibbana, the ultimate goal, and some do not attain it? As to that, Brahmin, I will ask you a question in return. Answer it as you choose. What do you think, Brahmin? Are you familiar with the road leading to Rajagaha? Yes, Master Gautama, I am familiar with the road leading to Rajagaha. What do you think, Brahmin? Suppose a man came who wanted to go to Rajagaha, and he approached you and said, Venerable Sir, I want to go to Rajagaha. Show me the road to Rajagaha. Then you told him, now good man, this road goes to Rajagaha. Follow it for a while, and you will see a certain village. Go a little further, and you will see a certain town. Go a little further, and you will see Rajagaha with its lovely parks, groves, meadows, and ponds. That having been thus advised and instructed by you, he would take a wrong road and would go to the west. Then a second man came who wanted to go to Rajagaha, and he approached you and said, Venerable Sir, I want to go to Rajagaha. Then you told him, now good man, this road goes to Rajagaha. Follow it, and you will see Rajagaha with its lovely parks, groves, meadows, and ponds. Then having been thus advised and instructed by you, he would arrive safely in Rajagaha. Now Brahmin, since Rajagaha exists, and the path leading to Rajagaha exists, and you are present as a guide, what is the cause and reason why, when those men have been thus advised and instructed by you, one man takes a wrong road and goes to the west, and one arrives safely in Rajagaha? What can I do about that, Master Gautama? I am one who shows the way. So too, Brahmin, Nibbana exists, and the path leading to Nibbana exists, and I am present as the guide. Yet when my disciples have been thus advised and instructed by me, some of them attain Nibbana, the ultimate goal, and some do not attain it. What can I do about that, Brahmin? The Tathagata is one who shows the way. When this was said, the Brahmin Ganakamoggallana said to the Blessed One, there are persons who are faithless and have gone forth from the home life into homelessness, not out of faith, but seeking a livelihood, who are fraudulent, deceitful, treacherous, haughty, hollow, personally vain, rough-tongued, loose-spoken, unguarded in their sense faculties, immoderate in eating, undevoted to wakefulness, unconcerned with recluseship, not greatly respectful of training, luxurious, careless, leaders in backsliding, neglectful of seclusion, lazy, wanting in energy, unmindful, not fully aware, unconcentrated, with straying minds, devoid of wisdom, drivelers. Master Gautama does not dwell together with these. But there are clansmen who have gone forth out of faith from the home life into homelessness, who are not fraudulent, deceitful, treacherous, haughty, hollow, personally vain, rough-tongued and loose-spoken, who are guarded in their sense faculties, moderate in eating, devoted to wakefulness, concerned with recluseship, greatly respectful of training, not luxurious or careless, who are keen to avoid backsliding, leaders in seclusion, energetic, resolute, established in mindfulness, fully aware, concentrated, with unified minds, possessing wisdom, not drivelers. Master Gautama dwells together with these. Just as black orris root is reckoned as the best of root perfumes, and red sandalwood is reckoned as the best of wood perfumes, and jasmine is reckoned as the best of flower perfumes, so too Master Gautama's advice is supreme among the teachings of today. Magnificent Master Gautama, magnificent Master Gautama. Master Gautama has made the Dhamma clear in many ways, as though he were turning upright what had been overturned, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go to Master Gautama for refuge, and to the Dhamma, and to the Sangha of monks. Let Master Gautama remember me as a lay follower who has gone to him for refuge for life. That's the end of the sutta. So here, this description about fraud monks, what the Buddha calls fraud monks, the monks who go forth for the sake of a livelihood, and they are haughty, vain, loose-spoken, unguarded in their sense faculties, immoderate in eating, undevoted to wakefulness, unconcerned with reclusive, not interested in the training, careless, neglectful of seclusion, lazy, unmindful, unconcentrated. Those are fraud monks. There's a lot of fraud monks nowadays. So this sutta is another one of those that gives a list of charana, the gradual training of a monk. So it's very clear from here how a monk is supposed to live the holy life, train in this gradual training. Okay, we stop here tonight. Anything to discuss? I'm trying to go as fast as possible so that we can finish this Majjhima Nikaya, then we have some time. Hopefully the last month of the Vassa, we can just concentrate on meditation. Okay, shall we end here? There's nothing.